Hello guys, this is the first video of the series where I will be showing you how to connect your Binance to your MT5, and at the end of this series you'll be able to receive live price data from Binance, receive candle data from Binance. You also learn how to send orders from MT5 to Binance, I mean trade from MT5 to Binance. So in this video I will start by introducing you to the concept of API and WebRequest function in MQL5. You also learn how to receive live price data of any cryptocurrency of your choice as long as it is listed on Binance. For example, if I run this script, it will show me the current price for BTC USDT. And if I go back to my code and change it to the symbol to ETH USDT and compile the code, if I run it, it's going to receive the price of ETH USDT. These are some of the things you will learn in this video. Before I go on, I would like to explain the concept of API. API is like the acronym for Application Programming Interface. In summary, it's like facilitate the communication between two programs. For example, as a trader, you might want to send signal from MT5 to Telegram, and the only way MT5 can communicate with Telegram is by using API. So it helps like send message, receive message, and not just message, it also perform varieties of function. You are going to learn everything in this series. Another thing you will learn in this video is you will have a deep understanding of the web request function. To make everything easy, MQL5 have like a built-in function that helps the communication between MT5 and other platform very easy and smooth. All you just need to do is to understand how the function work and the parameters of this function. Don't worry, I'm going to explain that to you in this video. So let's create a script and start writing our code. I believe you already know this, but let me just explain. Navigate to your MetaTrader 5, then go to new. Then once the MQL wizard pops up, click on script, click on next. Then let us give our script a name. Let's just name this Binance API. Then you can input your name here and link to your website. I believe you already know all this, so no. Finish. Then now we have a script file named Binance API. Like I said earlier, the first step is to know more about the web request function parameter. So let me come inside the onStart event handler and type web request. So if you want to check the MQL5 documentation about the web request function, you can just click on it, then click the F1 key on your keyboard. So the web request function is the function that is used like by MT5 to communicate with other platforms, and there are two ways of using this web request function. You can see the first one and you can see the second one. This first one is a little bit obsolete, so we won't really be using it, and our focus will be this second option. You can see here that in the MQL5 documentation we have all the parameters of the function, right? So let us talk about the first parameter, which is the method. Now in MQL5 or in API generally, you can use API to perform different functions, right? You can ask API to get like information on a platform and bring it to you. That is what we get the get request, which means you want to get something, right? Another function that the that the API does is you can use it to send something out. That is what we call the post request, right? You can also use it to delete. Like for instance, imagine you have like a message on your Telegram, but you want to delete it from your MT5. So the method you are going to use is the delete method. You can also use the edit method. I don't know, I think you can also use the edit method. So now the first parameter of the web request function is the method, right? And it's also a string variable. So if you want to declare it, the first thing you need to do is to, you can just use the const keyword, which means it should remain the same throughout your program. You can just type const. Then it's always a string data type, so just type string, then give it a name. I mean the identifier. You can just say method, right? Because then remember it is a string variable. So now if you use the get method, it means you end the line with a semicolon as always. If you use the get method, it means you want to get something from another platform, maybe like an information. For example, if I want to get the current price of BTC USDT, it means I'm going to use get. Why? Because I want to receive it. If I want to send a message from MT5 to Telegram, I'm going to use post. Why? Because I want to post it. If I want to delete a message on Telegram from MT5, I'm going to use the delete, or sometimes you can use the post too, but it depends on the platform, and it depends on the platform. So now, let's say we want to, because the purpose of this video now, the projects we are working on is to like get the current price of all cryptocurrency on from Binance. So we are going to use the get method because that is what we want to use. But if you want to post something, maybe you want to say something, you are going to type post, but this is get, right? We are going to use get. Now the next parameter of the function is the URL. This is a little bit complicated, but I'm going to take my time and explain this particular parameter. So let me just declare like a constant variable to, const, sorry about that, const, then string is also a string data type. You'll just type URL equals now when you want to input the URL is divided into various parts. The first part of the URL is what we refer to as the protocol, which is the HTTPS colon then 2// right? That is your protocol. This is your protocol. After the protocol, we have the domain. Now the domain for Binance API is api.binance.com. Now, the first thing, which is the protocol, it's more like when you want to send something out to the internet, you need something to like protect the information you want to send, right? So that's the work of the protocol. So if you use HTTPS, it means whatever you want to do is protected, is secured, and safe. After the protocol, we input the domain. For example, if you want to use CoinGecko, you are going to use api.coingecko.com. The domain is more like telling your API that I want you to, the domain is more like an address of a location you want to send your request to. So if I say api.binance.com, it's more like telling my API that API, I want you to go straight to this address, and the address is api.binance.com. Now the next part of the URL is what we refer to as the path. Like your folder on your computer or your phone. Before you get to a particular file, you have to open several folders, right? So now when we are talking about paths, it means when the API request gets to api.binance.com, the path that it is going to follow to get that particular data that you need. For example, the path to get the current price of all cryptocurrency coin on Binance, the path is, I just need to do to input /API, right? Another /v3 /ticker /price, then end the line with a semicolon. Basically, what you are seeing here for the URL, first the protocol, followed by the domain, then followed by the path. The protocol is more like a security, right? The domain is the address you want to send your request to. So now this last part is what we refer to as the path, which means API, when you get to Binance, api.binance.com, I'm using analogy to explain. Open this folder, API. Once you open this folder, you will see another folder, v3. Open another folder inside v3, which is called the ticker. Then once you get to the ticker, open the file called price. After the path, we also have the query string, but it is not really necessary for this project. In the next video, I'm going to explain what I mean by query string. Then next, we have another parameter of the web request function. That is what we refer to as the header. So let me just declare a const variable is also a string. and I'm going to name that header. This is more like additional information that you want to send to, to the with the API. For example, once the API gets to URL, once it gets to api.binance.com, then this is like the additional information that you want to, like additional text, like maybe your API key, blah blah blah. It is not really necessary. For example, here you can just leave it blank, end line with a semicolon. Another parameter, the next one is what we refer to as the timeout, right? Let me just declare an integer variable time underscore out, because let me just say 5,000. So the work of this parameter is to, is like the timeout. Is more like the timeout parameter is written in milliseconds, which means if a request is sent out and within these milliseconds, remember, 5,000 milliseconds means 5 seconds, 1,000 milliseconds means 1 second. So if we say 5,000 milliseconds, it means 5 seconds. So if we send the request out and without a response from the server, then the request should be terminated. That's the work of the timeout parameter. So the next parameter is what we call the data parameter. So the char data type is an array data. It's like an information you want to send to the internet, we want to send with the API. For example, if you want to send message to your Telegram, after you use your method, your URL, your header, this should be header, your header, then the data is more like, okay, the message you want to send itself, you want to say buy euro USD, so that's the work of the data. So I'm just gonna leave this empty for now. Let me compile. Okay, let me still honor this like this. The next parameter is the char, is the results, is the results. The result parameter is a char variable, is an array, So basically the work of this parameter is to store the server response. For example, if you send a request to the server, you are expecting a response from the server. For example, you can see this URL now, this API URL, we are saying that, okay, we need the price, the current price of all the cryptocurrencies on Binance, right? So now the response that will be sent back must be stored inside an array variable. That is the purpose of this result. So which means any response from the server will be stored in the result variable. Then lastly, we have the last parameter is also a char data type, and is the result header. Is the result header? No, it should be string data type. Is the string data type, and it's the result header. So basically this is more like details about the results sent back to you. It's more like to tell you like the details, the type of response that the server is sending back to you. Now, the difference between the results and the result header is the response of what you sent, the response the server is sending to you, the details you requested for. Then the result header is more like extra details that the result is adding about the data sent back to you. Remember, I said we have an header. The header is what you sent along with your request, right? Result header is what the server sent along with the response sent to you. Now that we understand all the parameters of the web request function, I believe that now we can start, imputing them one by one. So let's use the web request function. So the first parameter is the method. So we are just going to impute the method, which is the get method, because we want to get something from Binance server. The next one is the URL. So we are just going to impute the URL. Next is the header. So we are just going to type header, add a comma. The next one is saying your timeout. The next one is your timeout. Just type timeout, which means 5 seconds, which is 5,000 milliseconds. Add a comma. Then the next one is your data. So the data is empty, so there's no need for data right now. So just impute data. Then the next one is the results, the array where you want to store the response from the server. So we're just gonna say results. Then the last one is the result header. Result header. Let's end the line with a semicolon. Let's compile to see. All right, we have 0 errors and 0 warnings. Now that we are done imputing the necessary parameters, the next thing is for us to, receive the result that is being sent back to us by the server. So what I'm going to do here is to just declare like a string variable. So let me just name this server underscore response equals. Now the issue here is you can see that result is a char data type and we want to store it in a string, right? So this is what we are going to use. We are going to use char array to string function. Then we are going to impute the name of the char array, which is results, end the line with a semicolon. So after that, we can then print out. We can print out the server response because it is now a string, right? End the line with a semicolon. Compile. Go to MT5. Now after compiling, it's very important for you to do some important settings in your MetaTrader 5 for you to be able to receive and send out requests from MT5. Press Ctrl O, and if you can't press Ctrl O, just navigate to Tool, then go to Options. Under Options, click on Experts Advisor. Then make sure you click all this box that you see clicked here. Now come to Add New URL and type new URL. Type https://api.binance.com. Make sure you type it. You can see I've already done that here. You can just type https://api.binance.com. Once you are done with that, just click on OK. Click on OK. Once you click on OK, then you can click and drag the script to your chat. So let's wait for the response. You can see the response here. We have the price for ETH BTC, LTC BTC, all cryptocurrency, all the symbols on Binance will be sent to your MT5. So here is where we are going to stop in this video. You can see that the server response is written in JSON, and this is like a rough data. There's no way you can specify if you want BTC USDT price or ETH USDT price or ETH BTC price. So in the next video, I will show you how to sort this. All you just need to input is the symbol of the cryptocurrency that you want. For example, if you only want to see the price of BTC USDT, all you just need to do is to input the symbol, and it's going to automatically just print out the symbol for you. For example, let me show you the example here. I've already done that. So for example, this is the code I wrote, right? Script, but if I want to see for BTC USDT, I just come at BTC USDT. Let me compile the code and run it. Compile. Script, but run it. So I'm going to get the price of BTC USDT, and if I only want to see the price of ETH USDT, compile. Once I compile, run the code, I'm going to get the price of ETH USDT. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel if you find this video helpful, and in the next video we'll discuss more interesting topic of how to connect your MetaTrader 5 to Binance. Bye guys.